What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the cave. We are, of course, the Cave Boys. Welcome.
Welcome all.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. Now, today, boys, I have brought you together for yet another week to talk about
Twilight Princess.
Of course.
Essentially, I mean, well, the Legend of Zelda, but it does, it does more often than not default into Twilight Princess discussion. I think we managed to avoid it last video. I think we talked about it.
I think you brought it up, actually, Johnny. I think it's your fault this time.
Actually, yes, I think I did. Only very briefly, but it was mentioned.
Yeah.
So today, we're going to spend another 10 or 20 minutes trying to avoid talking about Twilight Princess too much. And today we're talking, boys, about the best and worst items in Zelda games. We all know that Zelda games, they contain many things, but one thing that defines the series is the items that you can acquire and use in the games. These might be items to help you fell foes, overcome dungeons, solve puzzles. There are many of them, and many of them to talk about. So, boys, do we have some favourite and least favourite Zelda items for the people at home?
Yes.
Excellent. Brilliant. There we go. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next now. Okay, so boys, I have a confession to make.
Right, go on.
I might have done that thing again where I autistically hyperfixate on a single thing and don't really focus on the other question, because it's obviously best and worst. I might have again focused on one of them. I might have focused on my least favourite item. Okay. And I might have... there might be a little rant coming very soon, so do strap in for that, people at home. And both of you boys, of course. But, to be fair, if I'm going off the dome, I guess you could say that, objectively, one of the best items in Zelda is a fairy in a bottle, as it gives you a second chance in life.
Yes, of course,
I think if all Zelda items existed in the real world, I think that might be one of the most sought after.
God, yeah.
It does beg the question that, let's say in a hypothetical world that, let's say Link has acquired a fairy in a bottle, and let's say for the sake of argument, let's say he falls into a wood chipper and gets shredded into pieces. Does he, regain his form and life, or does he then, continue through life alive, but as a small pile of Link kebab?
No, I think his heart is still beating. I think it rolls around.
Just in multiple pieces.
Just in multiple pieces.
That's a theory we'll maybe have to visit someday.
Yeah, maybe. So, like I say, off the dome, I would say maybe not my favourite, but objectively, I think that maybe the fairy is the best. Because even more so than the magic armor, that makes you invincible, but your money only lasts so long.
Cost as well.
Yeah, it's at a cost, exactly. But a second chance at life. If someone gave you that, you'd be living your best life 24/7.
You can stockpile them as well. You can have multiple chances at life if you really want.
Exactly. But the real story lies, with my least favorite item. I would say my least favorite item, but I have a small bit of beef, let's say, with this particular item that I felt the need to vent about today. So the actual point of my discussion today is the big wallet. I guess this argument could also apply to the big quiver or the big bomb bag.
I already see where this is going. I like this.
Because, what those items are is a bag.
Yep.
A slightly larger sack than the one that Link already owned. Allow me to explain myself. Link is a gentleman who has traversed various desolate, diverse, disparate dimensions, along the way collecting hammers, gauntlets, even on the occasion magical stones that appear to be some sort of medieval Tide Pods. So why then is the gate for entry for a very large sack very similar and sometimes higher than items like the aforementioned? Take Wind Waker, for example, boys. Link acquires bombs before a slightly bigger bag. In this fantastical sandbox that we often call Hyrule, explosives are, for whatever reason, more commonplace than a burlap sack. How the hell does that work? Not to mention the fact that, defining these items as bags in the first place is being stupendously generous. More often than not, these are, these quote-unquote bags are depicted as a literal single sheet of fabric held together with a little piece of string. Link could simply tie a knot into one of his old tunics and would have then a bag bigger than the one, he already possesses. And that'd save a hell of a lot of time going on these obscure quests that he usually has to go on in order to acquire a slightly larger sack. I mean, why? Why on earth bother? Trying to, yes, using one of your old tunics or something. Like, say you get a new tunic. I mean, you've got a whole outfit there. I mean, you've got a whole lot of material that you could use to make a bag. But why bother doing something as simple as, I don't know, trying to tie a singular knot when you can instead spend hours role-playing as a glorified pest control agent? If you don't remember, allow me to refresh your memories. If you, the player, dares dream large enough as to wanting a slightly bigger bag, in Ocarina of Time, you first have to find 30 bugs in Majora's Mask. You've got to find 30 bugs before you can have a bag. In Twilight Princess, you've got to find 24 bugs, which, by the way, what the fuck, Twilight Princess? Way to spoil the whole you have to acquire 30 bugs in order to acquire the big wallet tradition. But yeah, I guess that's an hour-long rant for another video, I guess. When it comes to, item scarcity, it makes sense that certain items are far more uncommon and elusive than others. Legendary blades, magical gauntlets, but allowing a bit of cloth with a shoelace attached to it to join those ranks is frankly absurd. I don't understand why so-called Zelda fans don't talk about these sorts of things more.
So-called Zelda fans?
I have lost sleep over this topic. Is it just me, boys?
No, it's not just you.
I tell you what, I've just realised as well, if there's anyone watching who's only played Breath of the Wild: The Tears of the Kingdom, they won't understand this at all, because
they're not even going to...
In those games, you can just save up to 1 million, no problem. There's no restriction.
Remember, do you guys remember the 3 glasses scene from Inglourious?
Yes, yes.
So look in the comments down below. If you see any people saying, what are you talking about? What are your wallet? What are you on about? You know who they are. Hunt them out.
Hunt them down.
Shame them.
I will say though, at least Breath of the Wild: Tears of the Kingdom don't require you to get bags. Fair, you know what? Fair play to them.
Exactly. They just made acquiring currency even more difficult.
Yeah.
They solved one problem by creating another.
Yeah. Instead, now you have to sell your life savings to even get any amount of rupees.
Yeah.
Just get 20 grand for getting diamonds.
Yeah, just sell all of your precious materials that you spent hours collecting, and there you go. You got money. You can't look in bushes anymore. No,
no more bushes. You can maybe find 1 rupee if you're looking at the exact right point in the map. That's it.
which is mad, because there's about 1,000 times more bushes and grass to look at.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Your little tirade over, Johnny? You're gonna?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna book myself into a heavy dose of psychiatry, and then we'll get the show rolling. Because someone get us back on track, please.
All right, since this is a best and worst, let's move to a best item, and
yeah, of course.
Okay.
I've got to do it, boys. I've got to take us to Twilight Princess, of course.
Oh, mate, why are you doing this?
He did the thing. He did the thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I've got multiple noted down just in case someone was already gonna say.
No,
one of
same.
So I'm going to say the one that I think Ed's probably wanting to say, but I want to say it more. It's actually, I'm not going to lie, I've got 2 from 3 actually, but mainly 2, and I think Ed's probably got both of these down. So the first one is the double Clawshots.
I've actually not got that.
What an item. The double Clawshots, I think they're a bloody excellent item. They're a little underutilized, I will admit that. There's not much use for them outside of a certain dungeon, the City in the Sky. Yeah. There's a few places in the overworld you can use them, but I'm not gonna lie, the feeling of basically being Spider-Man in the sky going around a dungeon, albeit that dungeon's a little bit, I don't know how to say it, mid. It's still a really cool feeling, and especially when you're fighting a dragon as the boss fight and you're just slinging around the air, it's an incredible way to use the item and build on the single claw shot.
I've just been scripting another video of my own, and I got to talk about just the claw shot in general, because you get it in a certain temple, whatever. I think, to be fair, compared to most of the items in Twilight Princess, I think the claw shot, just in general, 1 claw shot or 2, I think they're one of the most used items when it comes down to it, apart from the bow and arrow and stuff like that. I think it's a deserved place. I think as well, let's not forget, the hook shot in general is the Zelda item. It's the one that, to this day, people want back.
Tell you another one that's kind of similar to the Clawshot mechanically, and like the Clawshot was often used not just for traversing from point A to point B, but sometimes it was used to like activate switches or grab an item. Another item that's kind of similar and is in Skyward Sword that's really cool is the beetle, the little remote beetle that you can send out.
The beetle's a banger. I love
that's
that.
also sensational item just for puzzles. You had to like guide that thing through little crevices to go activate a switch that you couldn't even see. I love that, and I think that's something that would be great in the next game if they could somehow work that into however the next game is.
The beetle would be a great addition to bring back in an open form Zelda game. I think that would be like a really nice one. You know, you just give it a time limit of how far it can go. It acts as like a UAV. Like it's cool. It's nice little it's a nice little item that could definitely come back in the future if they do go back to normal items.
And it was quite clever as well how if it gets hit, then it kind of resets you.
Yeah.
So you could you could stop it being used everywhere and exploiting the game too much by putting certain enemies in certain places. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Also, to go back to the double claw shot, it begs the question: are there any other items that would be made better or cooler if they, if you acquire one and then later on in the game you acquire a doubled up version of it? Obviously you start with in Twilight Princess, you eventually acquire the claw shot and then you get the double claw shot.
A double bow and arrow, dual wielding.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I was going to say dual wielding swords would be kind of cool.
Yeah. We've never done that, have we?
Yeah, no, somehow, even with Tears of the Kingdom's like general freedom.
Yeah,
that's strange.
But yeah, no akimbo weapons just yet.
Shall I go into my favourite then, boys?
Let's hear it.
By all means.
Oh, lovely. I'm going to save Twilight Princess for now. Ultra Hand.
Oh.
Is it an item though?
I was going to say, my couple of picks here are like pretty... I'd say pretty objective, because I think Ultra Hand as an item is ridiculously good. Like, I don't think anyone can really fault that. You can build whatever you want, as long as you have materials around you.
That might be objective, but the idea of whether that is an item or not is subjective, I guess.
For sure, yeah. 100%. I feel like you could class something like Ascend as an item. It's like... I think Magnesis is an item from Breath of the Wild. So why isn't Ultra Hand?
All powers items. The item really is the pad, and then that distills, the information imparted to it from the shrine.
I mean, I guess by that you could say that Link's hand is the item. I guess.
Yeah. Link's hand. Oh, I use Link's hand all the time.
Nice and hot and spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
I think it's got the right to be in this conversation. I'll give it that.
Link's right hand is the best item in Zelda.
Oh, don't I know that?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I think that most of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's runes, or items if we want to call them that, I think they are pretty lackluster when put up to just like the general spectacle of a lot of the older items. Like, I've already mentioned Magnesis is kind of like, it's kind of cool, I guess. It was cool for the time. I remember a lot of people really enjoying Magnesis at the time. Ultran's just a beefed up version. Yeah. It's a beefed up version of that.
I mean, to be fair, the Sheikah Slate and Link's Hand basically replaced traditional items. So I think for that reason, it is fair to put this in there.
I think more on an objective level, it's not one of my favourites. I think it is... It can be anyway. It can be awful to control. But maybe that's just a me thing. Quick mention, because I also wanted to mention this, the long shot from Ocarina of Time. It's just very long, feels very satisfying after the hook shot.
Very long.
Shot it is surprisingly long.
That's the talking point.
It has a lot of uses as well. It's unlike a lot of Twilight Princess's items, as much as I really wanted to mention the ball and chain here, but unlike a lot of Twilight Princess items, I think the long shot has a weird amount of use in the overworld with its side missions and stuff. Yeah, I think long shot's a good shoe-in. I like that one.
Does anyone remember the Tingle Bottle?
Unfortunately, I do have a vague memory of it.
The Tingle Bottle, I'm not going to lie, I can't tell you what it does, because you can't use it anymore, because it had some online functionality. So you can't, the item objectively does not work.
So you can still acquire it?
You can still acquire it.
Yeah.
Yep, Tingle gives it to you and everything.
You just can't do anything with it.
Yep, it's the Tingle Tuner, except now it doesn't work.
Yeah, basically. The Tingle Tuner was bad enough.
Exactly, so I think that's objectively the worst, but to throw my favourite game of this series under the bus, the Dominion Rod from Twilight Princess.
Really? Okay. I actually quite like it.
I don't mind it. But it has like one use, and it's just in the Temple of Time.
Whoa. You can't forget moving the odd statue in Hyrule Field. I mean,
Don't get me wrong, there's like a couple of uses, but it's just kind of boring to use anyway.
Probably underutilized. I mean, it does come slightly later in the game, which kind of
Yeah.
affects how often you can use it, I guess. But
yeah,
it's kind of same as the claw shot. It's the sense that it's not necessarily the item itself; it's how much you get to use it.
yeah. And it's just how much you get to use it, how late in the game you get it. It's functionally very good. There's just not a lot to do with it outside of its main purpose.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think that's my whole point. So, Adam, would you like to start us off on yours?
Well, funny enough, I'm not actually going to do Twilight Princess for a change. I'm going to take aim at Ocarina of Time. Believe it or not, the perfect Zelda game does have flaws. You boys are familiar with the Begoron sword, right? Big ass sword
Of
that we
course,
get.
Yes.
Of course.
Where I'm taking this is, there is a sword that's very similar to that, known as the Giant's Knife, which essentially is the Begoron sword, but shit. It is the Timu knockoff of the Begoron sword, if you will. It's basically a baiting item. It baits you into thinking you're getting an incredible sword, but in reality, it's very bad.
Yeah, it makes you pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, and I think we all, if you're fortunate enough to play Ocarina of Time as a kid, we all had that moment where you finally purchased the sword, swing it. I think it's like 8 times.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the one
you're
that
actually
breaks?
right about that, yeah.
And that 8th time when it breaks and you're like, oh, I think I broke the game. Like, my sword's gone missing. I think it's like, I think something's glitched. Switch your N64 off, you pull the cartridge out, you give it a blow, you stick it back in, only to find that your big sword is now, a lot shorter than it used to be. And I do remember being heartbroken about this. And obviously, as a kid, I mean, am I right in saying, Adam, that the invincible version of this sword, that's after the big trade quest, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that is the conclusion of it, yeah.
Yeah, so after one of the biggest, trade quests in Zelda, you have to exchange many an item in order to get it. You do get the invincible version, but of course, as a kid, I had absolutely no idea.
God, yeah.
And definitely cried about my broken
Yeah,
big sword.
I was very gutted when it broke near instantly.
And of course, just before we sign off, we would like to thank each and every one of the members. Of course, we have Scoob. Thank you very much, Scoob. I am currently looking at your profile picture, and it is hilarious. Tristan YouTubers. Thank you very much, Tristan.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Legend of Mads.
Thank
A
you.
legend yourself. Thank you very much. Sheikah Cake. I will refrain from making any statements about that. Xenodorf. Thank you once again, my friend. A fan of Zelda. Tasteful name. Good name. Snow Elf. Very cultured. Excellent person. And of course, Keitala the Great, the founding titan.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
You're all
to,
amazing
each and
people.
every one of you.
Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you for giving us your money. It's currently being accrued in an enormous bank account.
The YouTube
where
vault.
eventually we will use it to purchase a death ray to wipe out. Okay, well, we'll bleep that. We'll bleep it, of course. Like you can't know the things we say. But yes, thank you for joining us. I'm gonna get this. I'm definitely gonna get this channel terminated at some point. We thank you for joining us today in the cave. Let us know your thoughts down below, and we'll see you very soon in the next one.
See you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.
I'm becoming a liability.
Oh, you always happen, mate. Don't worry. Goodbye.